In today's video, we are going to summarize a book from Mark Manson called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F*** in 9 lessons. If you are tired of the conventional motivational self-help books that doesn't say anything new and are a loss of time and money, then you might like this book. Most of the ideas discussed in this book are against what we've been told or think about. Lesson number 1. Don't try it. I am pretty sure that you know the feeling of looking at the social media and see how everyone is happy and fulfilled with their lives. There are images that scream happiness as if everyone's living the perfect life. If everyone looks happy, then you think that you should be as well. The truth is, at the beginning of the book, Mark Manson introduced a concept that may confuse most of the readers. He writes about the backwards law, which was popularized by the famous philosopher Alan Watts. Basically, what the law states is the idea that the more you pursue feeling better all the time, the less satisfied you become, as pursuing something only reinforces the fact that you lack it in the first place. Let me give you some examples of this law to clarify this. The more you desperately want to be rich, the more poor and unworthy you'll feel, regardless of how much money you have. The more sexy and desired you want to be, you'll see yourself as uglier regardless on what's your real physical appearance. The more desperately you try to be happy and love, the more lonely and insecure you'll be irrespective on who's around you in your life. Okay, you might think that this law doesn't make any sense as it's forcing people to not pursue their dreams, and that's against self-improvement. This is how it looks at a glance, but the author gives some examples on which everything starts to make sense. If the backwards law works in inverse order, then it should also work the other way around, which means that if pursuing the positive is negative, then pursuing the negative generates the positive. Do you remember the last time you went to the gym against your will and it was painful throughout the whole training? I am sure you ended up satisfied and very happy about yourself after the training session. Or when you used to live frugally in order to pay for a better and bigger house for your family in the future. It was probably hard to give up on lots of the stuff that you are used to buy normally, but in the end it was worth it, right? I am sure you understand the concept now. So the next time, remember that feeling negative emotions is not bad in the long term. But of course, that doesn't mean that being sad all the time is good for you. We need to remember that in life, some suffering is inevitable. Lesson number 2. Happiness is a problem. This lesson is related to the first one. Nowadays, it seems that you need to be happy 100% all the time, and if you are sad, then you are out of the norm. This fantasy is created by the social media, the circle of people which you surround yourself with, and also all the self-help books that advise you that all you need in order to be happy is to be positive no matter what, and say out loud 10 positive affirmations in front of the mirror. The thing is, being happy is not a goal, and it shouldn't be either. I am sure that most of you are guilty of saying things like, after buying this car, I'll be happy, or I'll only be happy if I achieve what X person has achieved already. You need to understand that happiness is just an emotion, and it should only serve us as a guide to go in the right direction, which is the best for us. Therefore, being sad or unhappy is not a bad thing unless you are depressed. It's just a feeling that it's telling us something, and only with the emotions, especially with the negative ones, we can look for what is best for our lives and discover new paths. With this idea of happiness without end, we find the topic about life problems. People that chase being happy all the time, they want to have a life without any problems. This is going to disappoint you, but you need to hear this. Everyone has problems. It doesn't matter what's your financial situation in society or your health condition. Even the richest people in the world face problems, and you'll be surprised that they face these problems daily just like you. Your problem could be the lack of money, and the problem of a rich person could be having too much money. Having too much money is a real problem, and if you're not good at solving this, the government will be the first one on the line to take it from you, from taxes. Life is basically about solving problems, and the better you become in stability, the more success you'll have in life. Then remember, happiness in life comes from solving problems. Mark Manson gives simple advice but effective about how to be happy and fulfilled in life. If you ask someone what they want in life, it's most likely that they will say things like, I want to be happy, have a big family, a job I like, etc. These answers are so common and predictable that in fact, they mean nothing. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing bad to want to have these things in life, but the way people establish their values is vague and not specific, and because of that, it won't point them in the right direction in life. Instead, just ask yourself this question: what are you willing to fight for? It might sound cold, but this way you discover your true values immediately. Maybe you want to be an entrepreneur and not having a boss in the future, but you're willing to sacrifice the next 5 years and not have any holidays, living paycheck to paycheck and spending all your extra money in the business, which you want to convert on your main source of income. Or maybe you want to become a doctor or a lawyer, so you go to university and then you discover that you're not willing to fight for this during 6 years and sacrifice the most part of your free time to study and get to the final goal. The true values of life are determined by the pain that you're willing to take in order to achieve big goals. If you are still skeptical about the value, imagine this for a moment. Imagine that you are given a gold medal on the Olympic Games, let's say on running or any other sport you like. You didn't work for it, but still they decided to give this medal to you. Now, will you hang that medal in your chest and walk it with pride? Will you show it to your friends and family and talk about it? You probably wouldn't, because you didn't fight for it, and that's why it doesn't have any special meaning to you. The fight and the struggle is what gives meaning and value to the things you want to achieve. Lesson number 3, you are not special. I am not trying to be rude or offend anyone here. Let me explain. Nowadays, we hear a lot of phrases like "you're special and you should be proud of yourself," or "you're extraordinary, you deserve to be happy and successful." We are constantly getting this type of information coming through us by social media and the media in general, and then we feel that we should be happy without any real reason. Mark explains that it's bad to feel successful and happy without achieving anything. That doesn't mean that you can't laugh with your partner or say good morning to the postman. It simply means that having the feeling of being someone special and self-entitled can be very toxic. The fact is that the majority of us are normal people, and I'm pretty sure I am average in most things I do in life, and probably the same with you. On one hand, we can be exceptional in some areas in our life, and on the other hand, there are things that we couldn't even consider ourselves even average. For instance, I can understand finance and make these animated videos, but I am sure there are thousands of people that have the same knowledge, or they can even make better videos than mine. Therefore, I could be above average when it comes to making these videos, but I am terrible at cooking and organizing things, so I will consider myself as below average on these activities. The key in life is not trying to be the most exceptional person, but ironically, just to be normal. It's a pill hard to swallow for a lot of people, as it means that you probably won't change the course of the world being special on something. But once you finally understand this, it's a liberating feeling, and it's good to be satisfied with just being normal, like taking a burden off your shoulders. Lesson number 4, the value of suffering. As I mentioned on the second lesson, the fighting and occasional suffering will never end in life. They are only parts of life, as same as happiness and fulfillment. We just have to embrace it and accept it. Once again, the important thing is to identify what is the thing that we are willing to suffer for. Maybe you wanted to be your own boss and be financially free, but after trying it for 3 months, you gave up because you wanted the final goal and not the process to get there. You didn't want to suffer in order to be a successful entrepreneur. The next time, try to concentrate in the process, and if you enjoy it enough, then you'll know that you'll be successful in that. Even if it's going to take 5 years to get there, it doesn't matter because you love going through the process. Lesson number 5, you are always choosing. Even if it sounds cruel, we are always choosing how to react to everything in our lives. It doesn't matter what happens to us. In the end, it's down to us to decide how we are going to handle it. Let me give you an example. Imagine that the business that you've been building during the last 2 years, it failed because of the pandemic. You tried with all your strength to maintain it alive, but it didn't generate any profit, so you had to close the business and accept a job. Now, what most people will do in this situation is predictable. They'll get mad with the government, the clients, and even their family, and they'll say that they are not providing enough support. Let's look at it from a different perspective. Instead of complaining about everything, maybe it will be smarter to learn from this experience and start again with a new plan. So, the next time that you find a challenge, remember this. Life is 10% what happens to us and 90% how we react to it. Lesson number 6, you're wrong about everything. Me too. I am sure you know someone that always tries to be right all the time, and even if that means lying or saying something that it's not true. There's nothing wrong with making mistakes, but it's perceived as that because of our ego. The ego within us doesn't want to admit that we are wrong, even if your brain wants it. This is also true when it comes to our values. Maybe we are used to having some values 3 years ago that now they are completely different to our current values. They will probably be also different in the future. In order to move forward, we need to question the place. For each important step we take, we need to be open to the idea of us being wrong, even if that's going to hurt a little our ego. Otherwise, we won't be able to become a better person. There's a famous quote that sums up this perfectly. When you think you know everything, there's not much you can learn. Lesson number 7. Failure is the path to follow. The educational system teaches us since we are kids that failure is bad, and it does it with qualifications. Basically, the less errors we commit in class, the better qualified we'll be. The more mistakes we make, the more useless we are for the school standards. Because we go to the school since we are really young, you can imagine the impact that it has in our mentality for the future. In real life though, mistakes and failures are lessons. Lessons that can take us much more far than we were before. Of course, errors can be seen as obstacles, and sometimes they really are. But I am sure you are familiar with the saying that sometimes it's necessary taking a step back in order to go 2 steps ahead. So the next time, don't be ashamed of failing or making a mistake. Take it as a chance to be better. Lesson number 8. The importance of saying no. Unfortunately, in our society, positive thinking is reinforced too much, and in almost all self-help books, they keep saying about being happy and open to everything from all angles. So for the most of us, eventually we'll believe that saying no is something bad. The author says that saying no in reality makes our life much easier. We have to say no because this is related to the topic of values. Let me give you a real life example. My friend who I met at uni had a strong friendship with other 3 classmates. One of them liked to go swimming, so he invited him to go to swimming classes. The second one played the guitar, and he said that he'd love for him to join his band. And the third one liked to watch movies and read books, and that also influenced my friend. Then, before he realized, he was swimming 5 times a week, playing with the band 3 times a week, and watching movies and reading books on his free time. And on top of that, he was studying in uni with all of that going on. In other words, he was not only exhausted from all these activities, he was not happy at all while doing them because he only enjoyed meeting with friends and that's it. He wanted to please them so much that he forgot to say no. You see, it's very important to do the things that are aligned with our values, otherwise we'll soon become miserable. Saying yes all the time, it doesn't open more options for us. In reality, when you say yes, you automatically say no to a different thing that you'll be doing instead, and it also works on the other way around. When you say no to something, you are opening other options that may be more aligned with your values. A wide range of experiences is definitely necessary and tempting when you're young. After all, you still need to discover yourself, what matters to you, but remember that the gold is hidden in deep waters. You need to maintain compromise with something and focus on that. This is true for relationships, careers, and building a better lifestyle. Lesson number 9. And then you pass away. Mark recommends that we are all aware that we will eventually pass away, and we should remember every now and then. This doesn't mean that the first thing you should do in the morning is to be in front of the mirror and say to yourself that someday you won't be in this world anymore. But remembering every now and then, it's an easy and fast way to make us humble. All of this idea about death can sound weird at the beginning, but let me get into the details. Reminding yourself that you'll eventually leave this world is very good for being grateful for every day we spend on this world and to establish the right values in your life. I am pretty sure you know someone around you that is strongly oriented to negative values, like looking for fame, having attention all the time, thinking on being better than everyone else, etc. These things may make you feel good just for an instant, but they won't make you accomplish your purpose in life. These values will satisfy your ego but not your heart. Which ones of these things will you take with you to the grave once you pass away? Expensive car, social media status, fame? I'm sure none of them, right? The things we'll think about before we pass away are these that are related to the family, experiences, or art. Like Mark says, the meaning of our lives is imposed by our innate desire of never dying, and there are many ways of accomplishing this. Form a big family so that your children and even their children will remember you. Building a business that adds a lot of value to a lot of people even after you're gone, or simply writing a book. For me personally, this channel is something that I am proud of, as it's helping some people at least a little bit, and it can be potentially something that I can show to my kids and they can teach to their kids if it's still hopefully maintained online. so that other people can benefit from this knowledge even after I'm gone. Okay, that's everything for today's video. If you like the video, please give a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching.